Hello everyone. Welcome to Clarity 16.3.2 Feature Supportability Training. I am Santosh Panchali and I am a product manager of Clarity. In this session, we'll review some of the key improvements made in release 16.3.2 with respect to general usability. So, what are those enhancements? To improve organization and usability, administrators can now group attributes within a Blueprint's properties module using configurable subtabs. Next, modern UX now supports native browser context menus for linked text. Right-clicking on a hyperlinked attribute in grids, board cards, and timelines, and a few other places will display options such as Open link in new tab or Open link in new window. Next, global search results now enforce user permissions, displaying only items that the user is authorized to view. Search ranking is also improved, prioritizing exact matches over partial matches. Next, custom master objects CMOs and custom subobjects CSOs now support drag and drop reordering when the grid is sorted by the new order column. In addition, the order column menu includes a recalculate order from sort option, enabling users to apply the current grid sort as the new sequence. Next, two new fields, data type and extended data type, are now available in the administration attributes grid as standard attributes, which means they support filtering, sorting, and grouping. Next, prior to this release, when selecting a user to impersonate, the lookup list checked if the user has the administration users navigate access right. Starting this release, that right is not checked anymore to bring up the list of users to impersonate. Last but not the least, to streamline access, users who haven't enabled respond to action items via email service will now find a direct link in their Blueprint action item notifications, taking them straight to the item in Modern UX My Workspace. Now, let's review some of these enhancements, if not all, through a demonstration. I'm now logged into Clarity as administrator Ian, and I'm on the Blueprint page for Projects Major. Administrators can now create subtabs using the new Add Subtab functionality within the Properties module of a Blueprint, up to a maximum of 25 subtabs that is configurable through a governor limit. This helps them organize logical set of fields into their respective sections and pages. Let's go ahead and create a subtab, say Financials. A general subtab is added to all existing and new blueprints, and for upgrading customers, all the existing attributes in the properties page are moved under this general subtab. However, when there is only one subtab, it is not displayed to the end users or in the blueprint administration. Now, coming back to financial subtab that we just created, we can create new sections under it in the same way that we were able to create it in the properties module in previous releases. Let's create one called actuals and add a few fields like this. In addition, I can as well move entire sections across subtabs. Let's go to here and move this section to financial subtab. As we can see, the entire subtab and the sections under it are moved here. We can even rename or delete any subtabs that are not needed from here, including the general subtab. However, we will not be able to delete the last subtab remaining on the properties module. This is true even for general subtab. Business rules can be set up to hide or show sections in subtabs. If the entire subtab should be hidden through a business rule, it should be configured to hide all the sections of the subtab, which in turn hides the subtab as well. For example, there is a business rule called hide financial setup here to hide all the sections of the financial subtab in case the financial status is closed or on hold. Now, let's look at the end user side of this functionality. I am logged in as a project manager, and when navigating to a project that is associated with the project major blueprint, like the able payments module, I can see that the properties page is organized by the subtabs that the administrator configured. I can navigate between different subtabs like this, as well as collapse the subtabs panel to a minimum width like this. Also, when I navigate to a project that has the financial status as hold like this, we can see that the financial subtab and all of its sections are totally hidden. That's due to the business rule that the administrator has set up in the blueprint of the project. Also notice that since general is the only subtab now effective, the subtab panel itself is not displayed, saving some screen real estate. Note that the last visited subtab on an instance is remembered within the user session. That means when we revisit the Able Payments module project again, we can see that it now directly landed on the financial subtab. This way, different fields of a properties page can be organized into logical groupings using the new subtabs functionality. Now, let's review another enhancement. Hyperlink text in most places of the modern UX now supports the native browser right-click context menu, unlike in previous releases. For example, when I'm in the grid page, right-clicking on an instance name like this brings up the browser's context menu for the hyperlink that enables me to launch the linked page in a new tab or in a new window. Similarly, this functionality is now available on hyperlink text in board cards like here and in timelines pages like here and a few other places like on the tiles in custom investments and custom objects workspaces. Moving on, let's review an enhancement made to the global search functionality. This user has view access to see all these projects, including automated security enhancements. Now, let's search for automated security. As we can see, the search results bring up different items that match the keyword automated security. Notice that the exact match for the project is ranked higher and displayed first than the other resulting matches. Now, behind the scenes, as an administrator, I have revoked the view access right to automated security enhancements project. That can be confirmed here as we don't see that project displayed here. Now, let's issue the same search again. As we can see from the results does not bring up the project as the user does not have the view access to that project anymore. Next, we'll look at an enhancement made to custom master objects, CMOs, and custom subobjects, CSOs. I'll demonstrate this for custom master objects, but rest assured that it works the same for custom subobjects as well. A new option, drag and drop order enabled, is now available in the object definition page for custom master objects and custom subobjects in Clarity Studio. The object must be API enabled before this toggle becomes available. and by default is unchecked. However, once enabled, it cannot be disabled and automatically creates a new attribute called order, which will be used to store the manually adjusted sequence by the end user. On the end user side, the order attribute is available in the grid layout of the object, and when configured, users can drag and drop rows to reorder them when the grid is sorted primarily by the order column. However, if the grid is not sorted by order column first, drag and drop is disabled and a message items cannot be moved unless sorted by order column is displayed. Also, when the grid is not primarily sorted by order attribute, like in this case, the system does provide a recalculate order from sort action in the column menu options for the order attribute. This action will copy the sequence of the rows as they are sorted and displayed in the grid into the order attribute. This option is disabled if the grid is already sorted by order attribute though. Like this. A few points to remember when using reordering in grids. The order attribute is not visible in details flyout or properties pages and cannot be used for filtering or conditional formatting. Dragging to reorder the rows is disabled, that is, the drag handle is not shown for users with view-only access to list of instances in the grids. The order attribute is available in the administration attributes page where it can not only be relabeled but also be secured for users who should not view the order attribute or not allowed to change the order despite having edit access to the instances. Users cannot drag rows between different pages in the grid. Manual drag and drop reordering is not supported within Canvas or status report table widgets, although the order column itself can be added and sorted within those grids. Next, two new fields, data type and extended data type, are now available in administration attributes grid. These two attributes have standard capabilities like filtering, sorting, grouping, etc. This helps administrators to easily identify the attributes with clearer and more intuitive information about the attribute. Lastly, users who did not opt for clarities respond to action items via email capability, but receive email notifications for blueprint triggered action items now have a link in the email that can directly navigate them to the action items in my workspace of modern UX. All right. This concludes the session on the key improvements made in Clarity Release 16.3.2 with respect to general usability. Thank you.